was my last talk. I would like to say thanks to everybody here for the invitation. It was an honor for me to be here, and especially was a very important trip to understand our history, where we come. It was very important. It's going to be a very important trip in my life, really. Hypoplasia pre-action now. We're going to talk about the pre-action part. Before, that's the solution I had. The prosthesis, amputation of the knee. When I had, like 20 years ago, I had a patient without arms and pre-axial hypoplasia, both tibias, agenesia of both tibias, and the normal solution, standard solution, was to amputate knees, but it doesn't have arms. I have to do something. I started to see some solutions. We call it pre-axial. I explained this yesterday. It's a different moment than the post-axial, and the deformities are different. This is a Franz O'Reilly classification, where we can classify this. And Jones, Barnes, and Lloyd Roberts had this classification, had been using for years and years, where the type 3 I never have seen, but the type 4 is dysostosis of the tibia and the fibula, and type 1 and type B, there's a hypoplasia or an agenesia of the tibia. This article, that was the first time I saw a publication of something that I have seen, but at that time, the David classification or David presentation of short tibia with a long fibula. And I thought that should be in the classification of John Beiner's. And so I started to call it the type 5 of the classification of agenesia of the tibia. And there was these are the pictures from the article of David from Ireland. And then Dr. Michael Weber from Germany published this classification, more complete, where the type 1 is the type 5 of the David type. And I think you can find any presentation in this classification, but the one I like more is the last one, published by Dr. Paley 2 years ago in this journal, where the type 1 is a small tibia, but with knee and ankle, and a long fibula. So the tibia is hypoplastic. In the type 2, it's similar to the type 1, but the ankle is hypoplastic. The plateau of the tibia is not well developed. And in the type 3, the old type 4 of the Barnes and Jones, Barnes, and Lloyd Roberts classification is that two kind of dysostosis of the tibia, the 3A and 3B. And the type 4 is the absence of the distal part of the tibia. And the type 4 is the total absence of the tibia. It's the real agenesia. And this is a classification, the type A of the 5 is the patient have a patella, so the patient have a quadriceps. And in the 5B, I have seen that the fibula is just under the knee. I have seen that type of presentation. And in the 5C, there is no patella. There is a quadricep, but the quadricep finish in the middle of the femur. That's the most difficult one. So this is type 1. Years ago, I had this case. And what I did a physiodesis of the fibula, and it works. The patient got a external tibial torsion, but was fine. That's all day. And this is another case of this type 1, but the deformity was bigger, so it's an external tibial torsion and a varus too. And the varus was proximal, one quarter proximal, one quarter distal, like you see here. So what I did, I was in the sagittal plane was this deformity. It was unable to extend. It was a lack of extension of the knee because the proximal deformity, like you see, the back slope is too big. So was a deformity very complex. So I need a lizard. So in this model, I fixed the antecurvatum of the tibia and the proximal model. And in the other model, I rotate and correct the other corra. So I did the right first and then the left. Then we have this lady with the type 2A. The type 2A with a very short tibia, a long fibula, and deformity of the preaxial deformity of the foot, and the discrepancy was big. So what I did, the tibia was internal rotated. So I put a laser off, and with this pin, I'm grabbing the tibia and the fibula, and I started to lengthen the tibia. And the fibula went down, okay, like you see here. And in the other model, in the down part, I did another osteotomy to do rotation. I prefer to do rotation in the distal tibia because the tibia is going to be in the center of the ring. If you do in the upper part, you're going to have a translation. Wait. That's if I use a Taylor spacer frame or some of the hexapod, all these problems will be solved. But that was the way I was doing it. And I tried to solve the values of the distal femur with two blown staples. And that was the solution. Then I went back to surgery when the fibula and tibia were in the same size, and I put a wire to grab the tibia and the fibula with one Kirchner wire, and started to lengthen the rest. So it's interesting that they're twins, and supposed to be a genetic problem. That's interesting. Then later I had a valgus of the distal femur and the distal tibia, and I solved it with a hinge plate. It was my first hinge plate I put, and I stopped the other femur with staples. This patient used to live in Venezuela, where I used to live too, but then came to the communists, and the parents moved to Texas, and I was in Venezuela. And the lady need a lengthening of the femur. Well, Dr. Paley's my friend said, go to Dr. Paley's, and maybe one of the first precise nails Dr. Paley's put in a child. And this is a precise nail, a very small one. I think it was one of the first ones, I'm sure. And well, it works. There's a publication of a femoral hemimelia, tibial hemimelia, in twins. There's a case from Brazil. Then we have the type 3. The type 3 is a dysostosis. It's a difficult. It looks like it's easy. It's not easy. It's very difficult. That was the solution I did. I did a kind of syndesmosis of the tibia and the fibula to make an ankle. And now we have type 4. Type 4 is the agenesia of the distal part of the tibia. And this is a recent case, last year case, and what I did with more experience. What this is, okay. This is the lady without distal tibia, and you can see that the distal tibia wants to go out of the skin. The big deformity. So my solution was I did a lateral incision of the femur, and the incision went to the anterior part of the tibia. Okay, I separate the peroneal nerve, all the vessels, took out the head of the tibia. I took it out, and I put the tibia under the fibula. So I went through between the anterior tibial muscle. I went behind that, and I put the tibia under the fibula. And the fibula was very, very small. Well, because all that bone, that's like a cone, was a very bad bone. So I put it there, and then I did an arthrodesis of the fibula with the talus, because the fibula was on the lateral side of the talus. That's what I did. So here I put a Ilicerov, I put 2 pins there, and I put a pin that goes through the calcaneus, talus, then I have an arthrodesis. I went to the tibia. See, you can see a lateral view here. And this is the ankle now. It's not an ankle, it's a fusion. I did an acute shortening, okay? And I put a Ilicerov to protect my shooters, really. I prefer that than a cast. You can put a cast too, but the external fixator gives more, holds better the rotation. And here's the girl. Oh, that's backward. Okay, and now this last week, well, it's not seen, but last week the mother sent me this little movie with a girl walking for the first time with a new leg. Now we have another patient with type 2C, where the distal part of the tibia is dysplastic. And finally, we have the type 5, where do we have quadriceps? That's the problem. So I have this girl that was a long time ago, and what I did a shortening of the femur, okay? Because the leg is it's like arthrogryposis, that's like a pterygium. So if you do shortening of the femur, you can straight the knee, and I put a wire. It's a long surgery, and I try to do an ankle between the fibula and the talus, but it fails always because there's a physis there. You put it straight, and 6 months later, you have a kinovarus again. So I think it's a better solution, the ankle, to do the arthrodesis like the solution I show you. But this result, well, see, they have a quadricep now because I used the quadricep and put it in the fibula, and the new tibia is the fibula. But I don't have a lateral control, so these legs move. She can flex, she can extend, but I don't have a lateral because I don't have a real knee. I have only the extend, but see? But we have to improve this. Now she can step, look at that, but it's too short, and it's not very stable. So the next problem is how to solve this unstable knee. So I have these cases, 5 years ago. Victoria And this is one of the problems. You're going to do amputation, this lady, like, see the arms. Okay? So to do amputation, there's crazy things to do. We have to keep all the resources she had. So we did the Weber technique. They take the patella, and the patella is going to be the new plateau of the new tibia, and the fibula is going to be the tibia. So we have the patella, and we lift the retinaculum and move the patella down. Like I'm going to show you with a movie. You move the patella down and put it. You put the fibula and the patella in the same place. This picture are from Dror Paley, but I'm going to show you what we did. This is the biceps going to the fibula. See, this is pre-axial, that the LCA that is post-axial is there. You can see the anterior ligament, crusade anterior ligament, and it's there. So then we finish. We put the fibula in the place of the tibia, and all the with the biceps we construct a new quadriceps, because the quadriceps was there. But I did a shortening of the tibia, of the femur. I did a shortening of the femur. So the quadriceps finish in the distal part of the femur. And because I did a shortening, now I have a longer quadriceps. It's not longer, but the knee is upper. So this is what I did in this case. So the shortening of the femur, I put a plate. I did an arthrodesis of the ankle there. And now, see, that's some months later, and now the fibula looks like a tibia and have a plateau now, which is the patella. And this is arthrogram. I've got a problem here because I have a back slope. I got a deformity on my own bone, but that's easy to fix it. And I tried to do an ankle here, but finally I did arthrodesis. This is when I finished surgery. When you finish all that skin, you have to manage to do C-plasty to put all the skin together. And here's the lady without quadriceps before. I'm asking her to straighten the knee and say, hey, do it. And she do it. Okay. So now we have a leg. And now we fix I did an arthrodesis of the distal and the ankle. And this is the leg. Now we have a more difficult case. It's a patient without any tibia. There is no patella, but there is a quadriceps. And in the X-ray, you see that the quadriceps, the quadriceps, this is the quadriceps, and finish right like here. So we did more or less the same surgery. Oh, fortunately, I don't know why. Okay, let's see this one. Oh, this is a shame. They're backward. Well, I'm showing here what I did. I did a shortening of the femur. I create a new knee between with the ligament, with the tendon of the biceps that is in the fibula. I create a kind of crusade ligament. I put it through in the epiphysis. And the biceps and the other muscles, I put it in the front part to create, to reinforce the quadriceps. Well, I'm looking here now, right? And when I finish that, this is the shortening of the femur with a plate. And when I finished that, I had a 90 degrees deformity, and I put an external fixator. I did a deformity of the ankle. That's Leon Mora, my friend, and one of my doctors, they're helping me in the surgery. And I put this external fixator, and little by little, it took like 6 months to straighten that. And this is the boy now with the new leg. There's so many things to show you, but, well, thank you for inviting me.